Hello and welcome to Barbershop Books Story Time with Alvin Irby. That's me. Today's story is a cool story. I know I say it every time, but it is a cool story. Today's story is Ron's Big Mission. I wonder what today's story is about. Let's take a look at the book cover. Well, I see a little boy. I see a plane. Oh, and I see a library. It's really small, but I think you can see it. It's in the background. He's looking up, kind of into the sky. Maybe this story has to do with a mission that's in the sky. Let's read and find out. Ron's Big Mission. Oh, cool. Look at this. I think this is Ron, but I'm not sure. Look at his room. He has all kinds of planets, like the whole solar system, and he's looking out the window. Do you like planets or learning about outer space? I do. You're up early this morning, Ron. What's the rush? Asked Mrs. McNair. Come and have your breakfast. I made some oatmeal. You know what? I think I might eat some oatmeal this morning. I have to go, Mama, said Ron, tying his sneakers. I have something to do this morning. I wonder what he has to do. He's a little kid. What could he have to do in the morning? You always have something to do, said his mother with a smile. Just be home by lunchtime, okay? And look, here's his mom right here. It looks like she's cooking something. Oh, oatmeal, remember? And here's Ron tying his shoes because he's heading out because he said he has something to do. I wonder what he has to do. Ron was 9 years old. That morning, he left his house with a plan. He'd been thinking about it for a long time. It was a beautiful South Carolina summer day, and Ron looked up at the blue sky. I wonder what he was thinking as he was looking into the sky. Someday, he thought, he would be up there flying a plane. He wanted to be a pilot when he grew up. But today, Ron had something else on his mind. Something very, very important. Wow, Ron wants to be a pilot. That means that he wants to fly airplanes and other types of flying vehicles like a helicopter or a jet. There's lots of different things you can fly. And look, here's Ron looking up into the sky and thinking. And what do you see on this side? Well, I see an airplane high in the sky. Have you ever thought about what kind of job you want to have when you grow up? Do you want to be a pilot? Do you want to be a chef and cook all types of tasty food? Do you want to be a doctor and help people get well? Or would you like to be a landscaper and make people's lawns and yards look really beautiful? Maybe you want to be a carpenter and make things out of wood. Or you could even be a construction worker and help build all types of buildings. There's so many different types of jobs you can have. But guess what? Ron, he wanted to be a pilot. Ron walked down the street as fast as he could. He didn't want to be late. Hi, Ron, the grocer called from the front of his store. There you are, just in time for a donut. I would like a donut right now. Morning, Mr. Douglas, said Ron. Thank you, but there's someplace I gotta be. And Ron kept on walking. He turned down a donut? Wow, he really wants to get where he needs to go if he turned down a donut. And look, here is the grocer That means that he runs a grocery store or he owns a grocery store. And what do you see in his hands? I see a big box of donuts. And look, here's Ron. Ron is saying, nope, sorry, I gotta go. I wonder where he's going. I'm curious. Down by the schoolyard, Ron saw his friend Carl shooting baskets. All right, you made it, called Carl. Hi, Carl, said Ron. I wish I could stay, but I've got something important to do. What does he have to do? More important than basketball on a summer vacation, said Carl. Are you kidding? Ron laughed. He loved to play basketball, but not today. Today was too important. Ron kept on walking. So Ron was running by the basketball court and he saw his friend Carl. And his friend wanted him to come play basketball, but Ron was like, nope, I got somewhere to be. And we still don't know where he's going. Did I show you the picture? Here he is running, and here's his friend Carl playing basketball. But is Ron gonna stop? Nope. When Ron got to the Lake City Public Library, he stopped. This was it. He was hot from walking so fast and was nervous too. He took a deep breath, lifted his head high, and went inside. Oh, he was going to the library. I get it. Mrs. Scott was busy getting ready for all the people who would be using the library today. As the head librarian, she had to make sure that everything was neat and orderly. So make sure everything was where it's supposed to be. Mrs. Scott looked up to welcome her first visitor of the day. She smiled as Ron walked in. He was her best customer. Ron gave a little wave to Mrs. Scott and went right to the shelves. The shelves of what? The shelves of books. Look at all of these shelves. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's even another shelf over here. 5. That's a lot of shelves of books. So, turns out that Ron loves the library. And here is Mrs. Scott, the librarian. Wait, not just the librarian, the head librarian. That means she's the librarian in charge. It took Ron a while to find books. He always looked for books that showed children who looked like him, but that was hard. There were not many books about black kids on shelves. At last, Ron found some books on airplanes. Why do you think Ron was looking for books on airplanes? Well, probably because he wanted to be a pilot. So if he wants to be a pilot, then he probably wants to read as many books as he can about airplanes. I think that makes sense. He took the books and started to walk to the front desk. Ron felt nervous and his hands felt a little sweaty, but he knew what he wanted to do. Mrs. Fielding, a white lady who was often in the library, stopped him. You can give me the books and I'll check them out for you, Ron, she said gently. No thanks, Miss Fielding, Ron said. I'm going to do it all by myself. But Ron, she started to say, I wonder what's going on. Ron was getting all these books, and then this lady offered to check them out for him. But he said, I'll do it all by myself. I wondered, is he too young to check out books? I think he's old enough. I wonder if there's something else going on. We got to keep reading to find out. Ron was already on his way to the front desk. He put the books on the counter. I'd like to check these out, please, said Ron. The desk clerk didn't look at him. Didn't she hear me? Ron wondered. Ron knew what he had to do. And look, here's Ron talking to the woman at the front of the desk, telling her that he wants to check out books about airplanes. I wonder. He jumped up on the counter. He wanted the desk clerk to know he was serious. I'd like to check these books out, he said. Oh, he said it quietly. I'm sorry, he didn't yell it like that. Let me try that again. I'd like to check out these books, he said quietly. The first desk clerk and Mrs. Scott just looked at each other. You know you can't check out books, Ron, said Mrs. Scott. You can read them here. That's the rule. Only white people can check out books from the library. Only white people can check out books from the library. Oh man, that's not fair at all. You know what? I think this book is talking about a story that happened at a time when there were rules that were not very nice and that were actually really mean to many black people. And this is one of them, that they couldn't check out a book from the library. Let's see. Ron looked at Mrs. Scott and the desk clerk politely, but he would not budge. I always read them here. Today, I want to check them out, said Ron. Mrs. Scott and the desk clerk did not know what to do. Ron wouldn't get off the counter. People were staring. Finally, the desk clerk called the Lake City police. They called the police on a kid for wanting to read a book? Oh my goodness. This is not okay. Two policemen came right over. Let someone check out the books for you, son, said one of the policemen. You know the rules. But Ron just shook his head. He would not budge. He said, nope. I want to check these books out. And guess what? Even when they called the police on him, how scary is that? I would have been so scared. But you know what? Ron, he's being super duper brave. He's kind of like, has this thing called courage. Do you know what courage is? It's when, even if you're scared, you still do what you think is right. And you know what? Ron, he had a lot of courage. I wonder what's going to happen. Now, Mrs. Scott called Ron's mother. Mrs. McNair came to the library very quickly. I know how you feel, baby, she said, but you have to follow the rules. I can't, Mama, Ron told her. It's wrong. The rules are not fair. Why can't I check out books like everyone else? No one said anything. Not the desk clerk, not Mrs. Scott, and not the policeman. Not even Ron's mother. Mrs. Scott looked at Ron. She thought about all the times that Ron came into the library and all the times he sat at the tables for hours looking over so many books. He was her best customer, and she knew what she had to do. What do you think Mrs. Scott is gonna do? She's the head of the librarian. She's like the top librarian. And Ron, he doesn't want to budge. Why? Because he said it's not fair. And guess what? It's not fair. It wasn't fair that he couldn't take the books home just because he was a black person. Well, guess what? That was not fair at all. Mrs. Scott walked back into her office and started writing. Ron wondered what she was doing. And look, here's Mrs. Scott. She's writing something on a piece of paper. I don't know what she's writing, but it's probably important. And look, here's Ron. If you look really close, can you see him? He's still standing here. And here's his mom, and there are two police officers. Well, Mrs. Scott returned and handed Ron a library card. A library card. He has his very own library card. Ron looked at Mrs. Scott and smiled. As he jumped to the floor, he thought he saw her smile too. "I'd like to check out these books, please," he said, handing the card to the desk clerk. The desk clerk took his library card, his new library card, and stamped the cards in the back of the books. "These are due back in 2 weeks," she said. And look, here's his mom, and she is so proud, she's even clapping. And here's Ron with giving her, receiving his new library card. And look at that big smile. He's so happy. Guess what? There was a time when certain people couldn't even read. They weren't even allowed to learn how to read only because of the color of their skin, only because they were black. And that was not fair. And you know what? Ron, he wasn't having it. He said, "I want to be able to check books out from the library." And he showed a lot of courage. Ron smiled. "Thank you," he said. He tucked the books under his arm and took his mother's hand. Together, they walked home. Ron couldn't wait to get to his room. What do you think he's going to do in his room? Probably read all the books that he just checked out from the library. And look, here's Ron with his mom as they're walking home. And what do you see off in the distance? If you look really close, I think you'll see it. It's an airplane. And Ron found it in the sky. Oh. He wanted to get home to his room to read and open to page 1. And look, here's Ron reading at home. Isn't that so cool that Ron had all that courage? And guess what? Ron did end up flying, except look, he flew in a spaceship. How cool is that? His name is Ron McNair, and he was an astronaut. Wow, this story is about a real person named Ron. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching Barbershop Books Storytime. If you would like to learn more information about Barbershop Books, you can visit our website at barbershopbooks.org. You can also connect with us on social media at Barbershop Books. Well, until next time, bye.